And welcome to another portion of this Mk2 Jaguar wide-body two-door coupe, which I'm on with, and the Land Rover. I'm going to touch upon both and show you what I've been up to. I did want to get a video out a bit earlier on, but where things have been going, we've not been able to do that. But yeah, so first things first, I hope you've had a good Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that this coming year will be maybe better than this one we're just coming out of. Or if you've had a good one, that you'll have another good one. Anyway, that done, let's get into it. So, the Jag, I've been doing the exhaust. I know people will be wanting to hear the thing running. Well, I have been pushing to try and get this thing welded up. So I finished making all the pieces, getting it all set and everything. Then I've welded it all up. Hopefully you can see the layout here. One of the runners sets is missing. That's at work. And I'll explain why as I'm going to go through these parts and the seat and stuff I've done. So what we have, let me just come to this side. So this is a forward set of headers, which I've probably shown you before, and I'll show you in a close-up of that. So I've welded all these up. And what I did was to make sure I could weld everything up, I removed this section pipe here. So the middle one I removed so I could get everything around, and then I put it back in and welded the ends. So I welded all that pipe up as well, and then I just had to run round. So that's that one done. Then the centre section, I haven't put anything in this. This engine originally didn't have catalytic converters in it. So I've not put them in. The later XJ40s, and I'm not sure about the XJSs, did put catalytic converters in, but this engine didn't run with them, so I've not put them in. And I've not put any centre section silencers in neither. So I'm going to see what it sounds like, but I have obviously got enough space to put some cherry bombs in. I think that's what they call them. Which will just take the edge off a little bit if it's a bit too raspy. But anyway, so the centre section comes up to the IRS and then it's spread out and over. So this is the near side. That's the near side one. And you can see how it comes over to the near side to come over the drive shaft. The brackets I made, these are all stainless steel, so the pipe's all mild steel. The ends, they were supposed to be, well, I thought they were stainless steel, so, but they're not. They're just mild steel plated, so I had to machine those to clean them up and to fit onto the pipes. But the brackets are stainless steel, which I made, so I didn't want to paint those, and same with the offside. So made the brackets, they're all stainless steel, welded onto mild steel. So that's the offside. Then the part comes over the actual drive shaft. This bracket here with the pin, there's a rubber mounting point inside the IRS. That slides into it, so that holds it in position. So that same thing again, that's all stainless steel onto mild steel pipe. And I'll tell you, those were awkward to make. To get that thing in right position to sit on there, that was awkward. So near side, offside, slightly different in the bend, just because of the way it comes from that and everything, but they're pretty much identical. So offside, and then the coupling, the two pipes that couple the ends that come over the drive shafts, and the V-band clamps. I'm sure I've shown you them, but they're under Jag, and I'm not going to lift Jag up just to get those out. But I'm sure those who know anything about making exhaust or whatever, there's a V-band clamp, which I use for these. So they just clamp and then they just lock up. What I did was as well, I did want, well, I've made these But I tried getting some sealing slip joints, pipes, and the company I inquired for the size that I wanted only had one in stock. And when I was in contact with them, I was asking them, when can you tell me when you'll have another one in? So I've got a pair, because I need a pair, and they wouldn't even get back to me until I think it was probably about 3 months. But by that time I was like, I need to get this thing done. So what I did was I went to work. I got some. This is the 2-inch pipe. I put that in the lathe and I just machined that down. So I just touched that off and just made sure that was perfect round, because this is seamed pipe. This isn't seamless. So I made sure that that was running concentric on the lathe, and then I had some old prop shaft, which was just right to be machined out to make the female part that goes over. So let me just get this here. So this is the rear silencer, and this is a fishtail, believe it or not, inside there. You can see that where it starts to taper out, well, it comes down to there like that. And I will try and get some pictures to show you of what, maybe clearer what you can see inside, and the meshing I've put in and for the silencing, and for the gas to expand into this silencer box bit. But anyway, so like I say, I machined these so they literally just go in like that, and that's their machine. That's a machine fit, is that, and they seal perfectly. They won't even need anything on to seal these. So I don't know whether I will put something on to seal it or just leave them. There is no restriction, obviously, because it pretty much is straight through. There's no baffles in here, so I don't think they would leak even if they were. But I don't know with the expansion rates, with the heat or what, I don't know, but we'll see. But they needed to slide in, because when the diffuser's in, this sits inside the diffuser, and you literally can't get into it. So even if I had some V-bands or anything on it, I literally couldn't tighten it up because I can't get in. Which I know some people say, well, that sounds a bit silly, but it's not really, because I can put these slip joints in and they can go in and they seal perfectly well. So that should be what it is, but we'll get some pictures. I've got a picture of the whole thing, which I'll put in the top corner. So that's the exhaust system done. The chair. Now I said the chair that I'd got and done. In fact, I'll bring it out. Just 1 second. Right. So the chairs that I bought. This was a chair that I bought. I bought it so it could tilt forward, obviously, because I've got seats in the back. I wanted a bucket-like seat, but there wasn't anything really exactly what I wanted that would tilt forward, except normal modern car chairs, which I didn't like. I wanted it to look sort of sportish, but not too much, but have that thing where it would make the car somewhat accessible into the back, and but yet still have that touch of sport in. These were the things that I found. I recovered them in leather, so all the stitching work I did. So this was my first stitching job on the sewing machine I bought. I do have the pieces, I don't know what you would call them, where the belts come through. There was one there and one there. Goes on there. Well, I made some aluminium ones because I didn't like exactly the shape and design, so I remade those slightly. But the width of it is really wide, because the car isn't really that wide inside, and it's really close to the BC post. And when the other chair's in, there isn't much of a gap, and I didn't really like this bit here. So I decided that I was going to make some bomber seats. So I'm going to keep the lower half of this, and let me just move this out of the way. So I've started making this. So I designed this on CAD. I'm going to change it slightly, this edge here. I'm going to take this bit off here, I'm going to cut it down there. But it's going to be covered, pretty similar to that. I've still got quite a bit of work to do. So I welded it up there. There's going to be some frames coming down back of here. Not sure if I've shown you on my one of my other vids on my CAD work I did for this. I think I did. But I might put some pictures of that in as well, so you can see what it will look like. But this will go onto the, let me just bring this chair back here a sec. So the hinges here, when I finish the bracketry on this side, this will bolt straight to that. And so the idea to do the bomber seats, because they use these in the old racing cars, bomber seats. And because it's so dark in the car, because it's black and green, it's really dark in there. So I thought one way to help lighten it up a little bit would be aluminium. So even though this will be mostly covered, if not all covered here, at the back, it'll be all aluminium. So that should help brighten up, so light reflecting off should help bring the light up in the car. And it'll add a new dimension to the inside of it instead of just being all covered. So that's what I've got there. And that's the reason why I'm doing that. And like I say, it narrows it off here. So it doesn't look as if the car's all full with just this. Because it is really close to each other with that. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Right, so one of the things I've done is I bought an oil pump. This come off eBay, I think 20 quid or something silly. Not a lot really, 12 volt, clips onto your battery. And I got this to prime the engines, both the Jaguar and the 101. And I've heard a lot of people say that the 101 pump, they don't lift right well at all when they're drying. You're supposed to pack them with Vaseline or a really light grease. I'm still not going to take the chance of it, hopefully that being the case, that it'll work quite happily while I'm trying to get this thing started or it actually running. So I bought this to prime the system up. Pipe goes from there into the oil, and that one screws into where the oil pressure sensor is. That union's a barb fitting off a air drill. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it's quarter BSPT that. But it does screw in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prime up the Jag into the main gallery. So that'll prime the pump, the big ends, everything. The whole system will be primed like as if the engine was running. Then I know for a fact I'm not going to do any damage whatsoever from an engine that's been so, because I built that a few years ago now and it's not been touched, it's not been turned or anything. So I'd rather prime the system. So that's what I bought that for. So this will be doing the Jag and the 101. Dead simple. Instead of messing around with hand pumps or just, like I say, hopefully crossing your fingers that it's going to work. So that's a Jag. Once I've got, what I did say was why the other runner isn't here. But just get this, hopefully I'll be able to show you. Where I welded from the flange to the pipe, I had very little accessibility into the back. So when I had the centre pipe out, I had no problem welding it up. Even this one was okay when I put it back. I had enough accessibility to get in just. But the other one, the tighter, because of the footwell that comes into the car. So I brought everything closer in, and I was hoping that I had enough access in from the back here. But my TIG torch can't get in. So I've welded insides, and these will be all ground out, so it's running flush and nice. But I don't want to just do that on the other one. So what I've done, I've taken it to work, and we've got a smaller torch on one of his TIGs. So I'm going to try get in with that. If I can't get in with that, then I'm going to oxyacetylene weld it in. But I've not done that yet. Christmas has come up, and that stopped me doing that because I've had so many other things to do at work. I've just not got round to doing it. So that's why the other set of runners is not here, because they're at work, just to finish that last bit of weld off. Once I've done that, I was going to get these ceramic coated, but I think I'm just going to paint them. to be quite honest with you. Going that far, just have them ceramic coated for what the car's really going to do is not going to do really much. I think it's more of a gimmick in that respect. I could wrap them. I've got some wrap, and I could wrap them, and he gave me pretty much the same statement as having them ceramic coated. But anyway, so that's where we are with this. These are going to all get sanded down, and then I'll get some heat resistant black paint on them, and all of them are going to be done except for the stainless steel parts. Obviously they'll remain stainless steel, but it'll all be painted. And I will be putting some shielding on, I think, as well. There's some places with some shielding. So let's show you what we've got on the Land Rover, and then we'll wrap her up, I think. So the Land Rover wheel stowage. Said I'd show you the finished design. The only thing I've not done is the lock, which will hold it in position when it's stowed away. I've not decided exactly where that's going yet, or how it's going to be, but I could draw it, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll show you the stowage, and then I'll show you the formula. It's an online thing that I use to work out the lever actuator force required to move the wheel into position. So anyway, so we have the Land Rover. Let's get rid of the body, and we'll look at the mechanism in a bit more detail. So you can see the mechanism here, or some of it. There's the actuator there, or I should say actuator lever. And there is the actuator itself hidden inside this tower, which I've made. So just a simple description of it. I know it's pretty much self-explanatory, but what we have is I've got this somewhat box section piece here, and what I've done is, instead of putting a plate down either side to make it into a box section, I've put this, well, let's see if I can there. So you see this highlighted S-type shape thing. That's sat obviously in between, as you can see, the two plates, and that'll be welded into it, and that's just first stop it splaying out, even though it's under an extraction. It's being pulled apart because obviously when the wheel's being levered up, the actuator is wanting to move upwards, so it will be pulling on this, but I didn't want it to be moving and buckling around or anything, because obviously this is only 3mm thick, is this material. So I put this structure inside just to help support it, so it can't move from side to side, to cut down on any possible torsional movement that might try and get in there, and it should keep it relatively light, and like I say, it moves the stresses from one side to another, backwards and forwards. Just something dead simple, and like I say, supporting the inner part of the structure as well. And then I've got a single plate at the other side, which just helps support as well, like I say, it pushing against it. I'd done a video of this last Saturday. Yes, last Saturday. And then I come to realise that I got my formula wrong, and so my drawing was wrong. So I had to, when I realised what it was, then I had to re-edit it, all this, and the actuator, because of the different lengths of actuator for stroke, obviously. And I got the wrong stroke. So this lever arm here, this here, what the actuator goes on to, this actuator rod, this here, I'd made this 100mm long, And I made it that long because the calculation I'd put in allowed me to make it that big. But unfortunately I put the wrong numbers in the calculator, which I got online. I'll show you it here. So just drag it across. So this was the calculator that I used. So you can see the weight is obviously the wheel, X is the lever, which the wheel's obviously mounted to, and L is the lever which I'm going to put force to, which is F, and the fulcrum point is where the top of that triangle is there, obviously. So what I did was I put in this number here, but I put it in inches and not metric. So this is correct, is this? It's just I don't know why I must have been playing with it and I put it back onto inches when it should be on metric. But it's in pounds, so it's 40 kilos. I've been online and a lot of people saying that the wheel and tyre is about 40 kilos. I thought it was about 50, but I haven't weighed it. So I put 40 as my basic statement. So 2.2 pounds to a kilo, so you get 88 to 88 pound, because everything else is in metric. So the length to the fulcrum, so that's, let me just move this over here. Let's get, in fact I better move this out of the way a sec, because otherwise it'll get rid of it. I'll have to mess around a bit. So let me pull this back. So X is this here. So all this, and obviously this is the fulcrum point, is this rod here. So 558, so it's 558 I measured to there. And like I say, my original actuator arm was 100, but I've changed it because I did the recalculation through this, and the actuator, without going absolutely crazy, it would have been massive. And so this actuator is the most powerful one that I've found for its size, its compact size and stroke length. So let me pull it back over again. So anyway, so I calculate it, and 170 millimeters, which is my L length there, would allow me to get away with this actuator I've got in here. This here, that's the actuator. So I redrew all this using these calculations. So this calculation here says that the force required to give an equilibrium is 302.82353 pounds. So the actual actuator, let me just drag this across, explore this. So this is the actuator, and it gives me 337 pounds of actual force, or 152 kilograms of force. You can see it costs there. It's actually, they're really quite cheap, to say what they are. So it's got a 300mm stroking. Originally it was a 200 one, but they're out of stock anyway now. But anyway, so it worked out better anyway, because I was struggling to find one until I realised the formula was wrong. But anyway, so 337 pounds of force this actuator will give. So with having that, I'll get rid of that. So with having that, it meant that I had, let me just check my notes here, 16 kilos of excess force. So I needed 302 to get it to balance, but obviously I need to actuate it. So the extra 16 kilos will be what actuates it. So let me go back to here. Let's go into motion study, and let's just do a little bit of playing. So there. So the 16 kilos will make it do that, which that's what I'm after. And hopefully the 16 kilos should be enough to make this move without any problem. Crossing my fingers. So yeah, and if it doesn't, well, I'm going to struggle because obviously the longer the actuator arm at the bottom is, let me just pull this up here. So the longer this arm is there means that I would have to have a longer stroked actuator, which means then I would have to make all these brackets again to accommodate. I'm hoping that I don't need to do that. What I will do is I'll build one side completely with the actuator and check that out with a wheel on. If I'm satisfied, then I'll do the other side. If not, then all I'll have to do is change the bracket uprights here and the actuator lever arm there. That's the only things I'll have to change, and obviously get a new actuator that's bigger to accommodate the longer stroke. But I still have enough area. This is the size of the wheel box, so I still have enough area to put in quite a bit more on that lever arm there to get this to actuate. But I think I should have enough. So anyway, so that's that, and I think that's pretty much it really for this. Yeah, so hopefully, well, I won't have it completely rebuilt for my next video, but I have the video I've got the cutout in with the side panels. I have started now doing the inner panel work, this panel work here, which goes all the way around here. That's in, and I'm doing the other side now, and then I've just got to get some more alloy sheet for the backs. And then it's going to make the drawings for all these components. So all the components down here, I need to get all these drawings made up so I can start getting them machined up and cut out and whatever else. So yeah, so there we are for the CAD modelling. One thing as well, two boo-boos I've made. They're not significant stupidities, but I wish that I hadn't made them. If you look on the model here, on the side of the let me put it to the side, on the side of the Land Rover. So obviously this is the side of the Land Rover here, so you can see where it tumbles home a bit, comes in, and then it kicks back out. So if I put bodies on, so you can see, let me just pull this round here, so you can see that when it comes back out to this panel, this horizontal plane here is in this face. So my first boo-boo was when I made the framework up to put all the paneling on, I put some 2x1 inch box section to make all the frames, and I've made my measurements from the top of the box section, so everything moved up. So this line here moved up further up. But what I've also done is, which I can't believe I did it, well I can, it's because it's me, but anyway, what I did was, when I did the drawing for this aperture here, for the wheel to go in, I unfolded this panel so it was all flattened out into one straight plane, so I could get the measurement for it, that was my error, because what's happened is when I've measured it with it being flattened out, but all these angles changed the measurement. So when that's brought out there, it rises a little bit, and when that comes out there, it rises a little bit. So it's actually brought, and I'll show you in my next video what I've done when I make it. It's actually in this panel now, this face here. So it comes up here and into here. Now it's changed this a little bit, because obviously with these lines being up here, it's longer here, so it matches this here. It's actually the same as this bottom angle here, and so that those two angles are slightly different, but it looks the same now. But what I'm going to do is, in this area here, I'm actually going to put a light in to light this up, so when it's dark, I can turn the lights on at the edge of the wheel box here to light up when I'm working on the wheel, putting it in the stowage. so I won't be working in pitch black. So I'll be able to get rid of some of this height here in here, whereas before I actually wouldn't have been able to put, or I'd struggle, it'd have to be something sunken. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do here. So I'll be able to bring this down a little bit, but I'm going to put a light in there. But that's my second mistake, which was just stupid really, those two mistakes. But other than that, she seems to be right, and it's my first body I've ever made as well, so I'm quite chuffed with seeing what I've got so far, and I think it's going to turn out really quite well. Not wishing to blow my own trumpet, but it does look quite good, and the people that come and see, come and have a look around now and again, they're quite impressed with it. So yeah, so there we go. So back to the video. So the wheel stowages, I'll put in a video of the actual stowage operating. I have shown it before, bits of it, but I have pretty much finished it now. I've just got a clip for when it comes home and it locks into place. So I've got a clip to put in, well, a lock I should say, not a clip, a lock, just to make sure when it's stowed away, that's where it stays. So I've just got that little design work to do, but everything else is well, it's done. So I put the fat paneling on, I've cut it out, which has been a bit of a pain really. I've cocked up a few places while I've been doing this. But it's not a big deal. But yeah, so like I say, I put the top panel in, I've got the roof panel now on, which was a pain because I messed up there. I made the panel before I put these rest of these panels, so I had an extra width of 3mm, which doesn't sound a lot, but trying to fit the panel on with a 3mm interference, I was having to knock and bash it around, and we were messing around so much, and then my pop rivet gun, which I bought, decided to die on me. So I'm trying to get it all pop riveted down with an hand pop rivet gun with these sealed pop rivets I've got, which are like proper hard to with hand pop anyway. So I managed to get it on. I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't leak. It shouldn't do, but we'll see. Knowing my luck, it will leak, and then it will be a right job because I've glued it down to wood base. It gives it the support. But anyway, it is what it is. But it's on. A bit of a messing around, but it is what it is, I suppose. But I've got the other side, the panels on. These panels here, and obviously the top, and I've just marked them off, so that's ready to cut. The framework goes inside here for the recess. I don't know how to go about this really, because it's got a fold that comes over so it can be pop riveted to this side. Now I was thinking of welding it, but there's so much weld, I was worried about movement. And I didn't want to be having it bowed or all over the place because that would make it look even worse. And riveting it goes along with the rest of the thing, so I thought I'm going to rivet it. But the thing is, because of all these bends that's in it, I can't put it on my bender. Even though it's a box pan folder, it won't bend all these 90-degree bends that needs to be in it. All, you know, when I put it in the bend, one's going to foul on the other, it's going to end up bending all the panel. So I'm thinking of making it in sections, and even this section here with the 90 degrees is still going to be awkward to bend. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to go about this, but if I make it in sections, it means that I've got I've got 3 sections where I'm having to join it together. There. So as I'm coming round, and I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to have it in just one piece. Well, one piece there and then one piece here, and just joined at the top. Because this section here, the panel comes down to here, so that any water, anything comes in, runs off. And all this is sealed where the rod comes through to actuate it. It's just either going to have a gland around it, the actual bar. So it'll be all sealed, and like I said, the water run off down to here. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do in relation to these bits, how I'm going to join them together or make it one, but we'll see. I'll have to mess around a bit. And then I've got I've got one sheet left, but I'm going to need another sheet if I make these in one piece either side because of the lengths. So I'll need another sheet because obviously the big panel that goes in the back. So yeah, that's where we are with that. It's coming together. It's coming together. It's slow. Fuel tank. I've got the fuel tank on, so we'll go around there and quickly look at the tank and the straps and things I've done. But that went together quite well, even though I had to buy another rubber filler neck pipe, which I was upset about because I thought the one I got was okay. So let's go around there and just have a quick gandy at that. So, fuel tank. So, once again, woody. Cheers for the tank. It's come together all right. It's in. Cross fingers, it shouldn't leak. With what I've done and the repairs I had to do on it, and same with the cradle, but it all went in. I had to make a mounting at the back. I'm saying mounting, there's some like spaces and everything that went in between the mounting bracket on the spring hanger and the cradle, so I made those up at work out of nylon. I'm not sure if I've shown that neither. Anyway, well, I'm going to take some pictures because it's like black hole Calcutta in here and you can't see anything, so we're going to take some pictures and you can see better. And I'll put those in, whether it's a corner or a full frame, I'm not sure, but we'll work it out. But what I've done is, to fasten it down, I made some straps. So I made some brackets that went onto the actual cradle, so either side. And then I made some straps, and I had some hooks. And so I modified them. I cut it to length. They fit in there, and then it just clips up, and now that's held down. I did show you when I was fitting this up and everything that I got some sealant, so where it was originally soldered, I put the tank in, I put the sealant in, so it touched the tank, so the bottom of the tank on all the points where it was soldered is now supported by the sealant that's gone hard, and that actually has turned out really good because I was going to make some rubbers to machine some rubbers to sit in it, but this worked out just as good. So yeah, that's all done and dusted. The pipe's on. It was a bit of messing around. It's absolutely awkward. Whoever designed these, it's like typical Land Rover. But anyway, I managed to get it all in. I've got a new pipes to feed as well, and returns, so they're all on. And it's just a case of now wiring it up. And the plug that goes on top of this fuel pump sender unit, I have no idea what it comes off, but I don't have the plug that goes on. So I've had to make something until I can try and find out exactly what this sender pump come off. Once I know that, then I can get a proper plug, or cross my fingers I can. Anyway, I'll put some pictures in of all this I've done, because I literally can't get a video. It's that dark under here. I'm going to have to take pictures for you, but yeah, so that's on, and I'm chuffed with the tank. I didn't want to make one. I would have done, but I didn't want to do, because it was just so much time and cost, effort, and just making something. And like I said, buying a brand new one at £1,000, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. Not doing that when I can put money anywhere, somewhere else, like tyres or, you know, bits of panel work or stuff that's going to go inside it. Anyway, so we'll finish off at front. So in finishing, closing, like I said, I hope you all have a cracking great new year, and that, yeah, things can work out for everybody in a positive manner, especially where I see the world going. But anyway, but hopefully me and my son, we can get the Land Rover finished this year. Hopefully the Jag will be finished this year. I know it's gone on forever. I know my wife keeps saying it's going on forever, but she's patient. She's a great lass, is my wife. But it's been enjoyable, and it'll hopefully continue to be enjoyable. But we can finish these off and see how things go. But I'm hoping, I know I said that I was going to try and get a video out every week. It's absolutely nigh impossible. It's so hard making these videos and the time consumed. But I have some ideas to maybe try and get these things moved on a bit better, make better videos, which I know I keep saying, but it is hard. But yeah, I'm grateful for all those who watch and find this content as relatively poor as it is at times, interesting, and yeah, we can make better videos and have a better you know, content for you, and hopefully we can make more of them. But same thing again, you all have a cracking new year, and you all take it steady, and hopefully see you on the next one, maybe of something running, but we don't know. We'll see, but hopefully we can have, because we are quite close. Anyway, you all take it steady, and thanks a lot for watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, or subscribe.